Hello everybody! Today we are going... Well, this is Rye, first of all, if you didn't know me. Today we're going over the new additions to War Thunder and Update 1.49. I mean, we don't really know everything yet because it might be subjected to change, but this is what they've listed as what they're probably going to change. Add, whatever. So for aircraft, the U.S. gets the Skyraider 82. Not 82. Not 82. AD2. There. Yep, it has two 20mm M3 cannons, each with 200 rounds per barrel. Each one is in a wing. It can carry 2,000 pounds of bombs. And can carry 12, it has hard points for 12 Mark 9 or Mark 2 unguided rockets. It can also carry two types of torpedoes, I forget what they're called, so I'm not going to list them. And then, well, another interesting feature about this aircraft is that it has folding wings, so that's pretty neat. There's also, it's a relatively advanced attack aircraft. It actually saw service all the way up through Vietnam, so it's somewhat advanced. That's not long. Anyways, for the Russian tech tree, we get a new IL-2. What a surprise! The IL-2 1943. It's apparently an IL-2M, and whatever would we do without another IL-2? Honestly, we're real deficit of IL-2s in War Thunder. No, I'm being sarcastic. Anyways, if it's an actual plane you can research, it might be good, especially if it's not as high a tier, because then it'd probably be easier for me to research because I'm not all the way down the ground attack aircraft. Anyways, Germany gets some pretty cool new additions. First of all, they get the HS-129. Well, the HS-129 was already in-game, but now it gets a cockpit, so you can see out of it. Yeah, before you couldn't see out of it, you just fly and crash. Or just fly in a straight line and get shot down. But now you can actually fly it. That was all sarcastic. Wasn't obvious before. Anyways, then they get the AR-234, or the Arado 234C3. Now this is actually quite a cool addition. It has two 20mm cannons, unlike the original Arado 234, which had nothing. So it actually has, I mean, they're not for defense, they're in the nose, but it can at least shoot down, maybe shoot down aircraft. It can strafe things, and it has 4 jet engines, so yeah, this is a really exciting addition, I'd say. Along with the AD2 and many other things on this list. So Britain gets a lot of aircraft. They get two Firefly naval fighters, the Firefly F Mark 1 and the F Mark 5, both of which have 4 20mm Hispano cannons and heavy loads of rockets and bombs. And lions and tigers and bears. Yeah, the Firefly, it's just one of the naval fighters on this list. They actually added a lot of stuff for Britain. So yeah, on to the next one, which is the Seafire Mark 17. It's basically a naval version of the Spitfire. It has 2 20mm Hispano cannons and 4 7.7 Browning machine guns. So yeah, something pretty neat. Kind of reminds me of them. I wonder when actual War Thunder ships will come out. Anyways, the next aircraft is the Sea Fury FD-11, which was actually the fastest single-engine piston aircraft. It can attain speeds of about 740 kilometers per hour. Now, that's a lot. That's significantly faster than some of the jets in this game. So that's insanely fast for a prop aircraft. Probably, yeah, you'll definitely want to use this for boom and zoom and going in engagements. It has 2,000 pounds. It can carry 2,000 pounds of bombs and 12 rockets. And its main armament is, of course, 4 Hispano cannons, which is becoming a trend on this list, except for the Seafire. Anyways, then we have the Attacker FB-1, which is a jet with 4 Hispano cannons. It's a naval jet. So yeah, that's pretty neat addition, I guess. Then we also have the Canberra gets a cockpit. Canberra was the bomber, in case you've never played War Thunder. Japan doesn't get that much, but they do get some new aircraft. They get the J2M2. I'm pretty sure there was a J2M2 in-game already, except it was premium, so you actually need premium currency to get it, so this J2M2 you can actually research it, hopefully. They also get the Kai-21 medium bomber, which has 1,000 kilograms of bombs and 4 7.7 machine guns for defense. Now on to the ground units. First, for the US, we have the M2A2 light tank, which is basically an M2A light tank with 2 turrets, each one has a 12mm or 50 cal machine gun. So it's actually really interesting. Probably be kind of good against light targets, as you might imagine. Won't be able to go up against things like Panzer IIIs, but maybe in like weak spots. Then there's the M3 75mm gun motor carriage. So this, at first, with my description at least, will sound pretty crappy. So it's basically a truck with a late 19th century 75mm gun, designed in used in 1897. So yeah, that doesn't sound very flattering about this tank, but it's actually, the gun has a surprisingly good armor penetration, just a little under that of the Sherman, so it's good, and its armor can keep out, well, musket fire, probably. Probably use it like a ZIS-30, because that doesn't have a lot of armor, but it's still really deadly, so yeah, kind of like it's a sniper. Then we get the M18 Hellcat and the Black Cat, which have 76mm guns and are the fastest tanks in the game at 90 kilometers per hour. The only difference between the Hellcat and the Black Cat, at least what the dev blog said, was that the Black Cat doesn't have the muzzle brake on the gun barrel, and the excess armor protection along the tracks has been removed, probably for more agility, I'm assuming, unless it was an earlier version. Then we get the M10 gun motor carriage, which is basically an M4 Sherman chassis with a 76mm gun. It is known in Britain as the Wolverine, but no one else really called it. Anyways, that's a pretty cool name. It's a pretty decent tank destroyer, I think. That and the Hellcat actually have turrets, unlike most of those casemate tank destroyers, so that's always good. Then we get into some real monsters of machines. So, for the T-95 and T-28, just imagine a boulder, right? A giant boulder. Imagine it flattened itself out, grew in a 105mm gun, and sprouted tracks. Then you have a clear idea of what the T-95/T-28 is. It's a giant casemate tank destroyer, like it's heavier than the Mouse that's already in game, and has up to 12 inches of armor. So yeah, this is going to be these I should say are going to be really serious contenders. One confusing part though is the fact that they're adding in the T-95 and the T-28 as separate vehicles, because the T-95 was basically the same tank except it was renamed to the T-28 once it was reclassified as a tank destroyer, but they didn't really change anything about it. Maybe one of them is premium, which I'm assuming because it's not much different except for the names. Then we get probably a premium tank, the M5A1 5th Armored Division, which is, yeah, definitely probably a premium tank. Excuse me. The Germany gets the ST-UH-42G, which is basically a Stug 3, but instead of a 75mm gun, which it comes with naturally, these are tank destroyers, casemate tank destroyers. They don't have a turret. For anyone who's not a War Thunder player, casemate's basically just it's built into the hull. Anyways, it traded out the 75mm gun for a 105mm howitzer, pretty similar to the M4 105, which also traded out a 75mm for the 105mm gun, but that's a M4 Sherman, which is an American tank, so slightly different. Very different. Guns are very similar. Anyways, just wanted to add that as a note. Anyways, on to the USSR tanks. So first we have, or Russian tanks, first we have the 4M Gaz AAA, which is self-propelled anti-air gun. Basically, it's a truck with 4 7mm machine guns in one mount on it, so that'll be a pretty neat low-tier AAA system. Probably Tier 1 since Russia doesn't have a Tier 1 anti-air system yet. So yeah, that'll be cool. Then we have the STU-122-54, which is pretty confusing because I couldn't find any information on it on Wikipedia. But I'm pretty sure it's a variant of the SU-122, which is a self-propelled gun. I couldn't find much more information on it. But the guess is that 54 stands for the chassis of a T-54 medium tank. So, yeah, I mean, they did do that with SU-122-44. Anyways, moving on, we have the T-34-85E, which is definitely a variant of the T-34-85, which has an 85mm gun. Probably some minor changes. Maybe it's premium. Then we have another T-34, the T-34E STZ. Remarkable, another T-34. STZ probably stands for something important, so I don't know, probably different. Couldn't find anything on it. Then we get the IS-2 Revenge, which I'm assuming is definitely a premium tank. It's basically an IS-2 heavy tank, probably with some different paint scheme. And there's the SU-76 5th Guard Cossacks Cavalry Corps, which is definitely premium because I don't know why you'd add in another SU-76 if it has all that cavalry corps or whatnot. I don't know, it's probably premium, like a lot of these. Most of these are probably just variants though. We'll just have to wait and see. Alright, so now we have the new maps that are being added. So the first map is that of the Hertzgen Forest, which is where the longest battle the U.S. Army took action in was fought. The map is a 4x4 kilometer battleground for tanks and a 64 by 64 kilometer battleground for aircraft. The ruined town will probably be where most of the fighting takes place, but that's up to where they put the camp zones, of course. There are also open spaces on the map and points for sniping tank destroys to lick. The second map is none other than that of Normandy, where the Allied invasion of the Axis occupied France took place. Or of Axis, whatever. You get the point. There's a ruined town where the cap point can be seen, but the beach, littered with obstacles and overlooked by the town, will hopefully have conflict as well, as that was the main zone of conflict in the battle. That was a really bloody battle, jeez. I mean, alright, never mind. It has like pillboxes, spiky metal obstacles called hedgehogs, and yeah, it'll probably be a pretty interesting battleground. There's also another part of the map called hedgerows, which are basically rows of vegetation. They kind of allow you to sneak around, being a sneaky little bastard, but you also have to be on the move, as I said, because you have to like sneak around the enemy, kind of through the hedgerows and stuff. If you just crash through them or snipe from the other side of the hedgerows, it'll probably be seen pretty easily. So that pretty much wraps it up for what we've seen so far for 1.49. This seems like it's going to be a really cool update. And yeah, definitely like this video. View this video for one thing. View it. That didn't make any sense because, well,